Hello everyone, welcome to Target45. My name is Jyoti. Today we are going to solve 14 string patterns as part of day 13 coding session. If you see, these are the kind of patterns we are going to cover today. So these patterns are different, it is really good for everybody to solve these kind of string patterns because these are mostly asked in MCQs and interviews and in exams. So let's start coding today. We'll solve one by one and totally 14 are there. If you still have not subscribed to Target 45, please subscribe to Target 45 because we are daily going to solve these kind of problems and it is really helpful for you. So if you see here this is the string and each string is printing. In the first row it is printing once and in the second row it is printing twice. In the third row it will print thrice. So basically what it is doing is multiplication of the string. The string is just incrementing. We just need to do one thing here. Since we have only two rows, we have to take the string and we have to multiply it with I. If you have followed from day one, you know, right? If you multiply string with integer, it will print the string this many number of times. I times it will print this string. So remember that. And let me explain you the use of range function. So range function is basically, this is the syntax: start, stop and step. So basically if I take 0 to 2, here 0 is start, 2 is stop. By default it takes 1 as increment step. Even if we don't give it, it consider it as one increment only. If you want decrement, you have to specify it as -1 here. And here the start is 5, stop is 0 and step is -1. So this is how we use the range function. It's always important to understand how range function works. Here in this session we are going to understand about slicing, indexing of the strings. So let's go to the pattern 2. In pattern 2, if we see, there is a text called Jyoti. We have text which is Jyoti. So for I take the range as length of text and print text 0 to I. Will this work? I'm simply saying for every row it has to print from 0 to I. If I is okay, let's take from 1 to length of text plus 1. So it starts at 1. So initially it prints from, initially I is 1. So 0 to 1 is, you know, right? The string index starts from 0. So 0 to I means, 0 to 1 means it will print J first and then JY. So it has to work. That's it. Here I have used length function. Length function is basically finding the length of string. Finding length of string. Here length of string is 6. So let's go to the next one. So if you see this pattern, there are spaces in the right side and spaces are continuously decrementing. And we have a pattern which is target 45. In the first row it is only T and second row A. and by the last row it is printing as target 45. So what we have to do, we simply take text as target 45 here. Now we take a for loop. We need to take it as from 1 to length of text plus 1 print. We have spaces, so we need to cover it with the logic. Length of text minus I if we do. Is this correct? Okay, let's understand why minus I. See, in the first row we have how many spaces? 7. If you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 spaces we have in the first row, and in the second row we have 5 spaces. Third row we have 4. So in the same way it is decrementing. So what I'm doing, in when I is equal to 1, length of text is basically 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sorry, it is 8. Length by length is 8. So when we do initially 8 minus 1 is 7, we get 7 spaces. When I is equal to 2, 8 minus 2 is 6, we have 6 spaces, and 8 minus 3 is 5 spaces. Here we have 5 spaces. In the same way it is decrementing. By the last row we have 0 spaces. That is why I am using this logic here. Remember this. We have printed the spaces. Now what we need to do, we need to print the text as well. We know that here we are going to take from 0 to I, because in the first row it is t. Let's say if I is 1, it has to print t. When I is 2, it has to print ta. 0 to 0 1, because if you see in target 45, t is 0, 1 is a, 2 3 4 5 6 7. So this is the index basically. This is the index. So according to this index, we are taking this as, we are slicing it from 0 to I. We need to understand this slicing properly, so I'm just explaining everything in clear. So it is taking from 0 to I. So if you are not specifying anything here, by default it is considering it consider as start. Okay, let me tell you, it will help you when you solve upcoming problems. This is step, consider it like this. Start, by default it will be starting from 0. Stop is the, it's stop is basically the length of the string. Here in this context, length of string, and step we have to say if it is increment or decrement or how it is going. We have to remember this. So here by default stop is 0. 0 to I means in every for loop it is taking I and it is printing up to I. So let's see if this is the pattern we are looking for. Yeah, this is the one we are looking for. See, if you have any doubts, comment in the comment section. We'll try to solve them also. I'll address it. I'll make sure your doubt is solved. Let's solve the pattern 4. If you see, pattern 4 is a palindrome pattern, because if you read from the front or from the backward, it is the same string. We have already solved palindrome patterns in the previous classes. If you don't know what palindrome is, go back and finish that and come back to here. You can clearly understand what palindrome is. Here in this pattern, if you see, we have two separate, we can separate it into two parts. The first part is this, where it is printing from front to the end of the string, and the second part is end to the starting of the string. So let's understand how we can solve this. We'll take the for loop. we'll take the for loop, and will the range is length of the string. So here, as I said, two parts. The first part is take from the starting to I plus 1. So it will print up to I and concatenate with, you have to come from the backward. So here backward is minus 1, step is minus 1, and from I to, like you have to give the starting element as I. So from I to backward, you have to print here. So the first part is printing from front to the end, and the second part is coming from end to the front, and it is decrementing here. This you have to understand very clearly. Python slicing and understanding is very important here. How we are doing this slicing: start, end, and step. Basically increment or decrement. So let's see if we are getting what we are expecting. So this is the one we are expecting, and this is the one we got also. So this is correct. Understand Python slicing clearly, you can easily solve the problems. Since we are decrementing here, I'm specifying it as minus 1, and it is starting at I because it has to print from the backward, so I is mandatory here. And I'm leaving it blank because I'm saying that start from the end and cover the complete string from the backward until you print everything. So this is the meaning of that. Understand this very properly. If you have any doubts, comment in the comment section. So let's go to the next problem, next pattern. If you see here, the text is code. Start at 1 and take the length of the text plus 1. And what we have to print here, in every row, if you see, in the first row we are printing C once, and in the second row we are printing CO twice, and in the third row COD. Basically, whatever the index is, it is printing that many letters in every row, that many times and that many letters. So what we can do, simply we can simply take the text from 0 to I into I. That is why we are taking starting the index from 1. So let's see if we get what we are expecting. See, simple. So this pattern, we have already solved this kind of pattern. I think it is pattern 2. So let's copy paste this and see the changes we can make for this. See this pattern, it is starting from the backward. So take from, change the range remaining is same. Start from the backward, stop at not 0, minus 1. If you see, we are saying that the start is from the start is this length. So this is basically the length is 6. Where do we have to stop? We have to stop at 0, and the step is decrement. So let's see. So this is the one we are looking for. So this is solved. And the next pattern is, this is a bit interesting. We have even rows and odd rows. If you see, the even rows are uppercase and the odd rows are lowercase. And this n modulo division 2 is equal to 0, then it is called as an even row. So let's solve this pattern. This is simple and straightforward if you see, but you need to understand the underlying pattern also, like how it is getting solved. Otherwise it's hard to understand any pattern. So let's take the text as target45 for in range of length, for I in the range of the length of the text. If I modulo division 2 is equal to 0, then we have to print as colon I plus 1 dot upper. Else print the same, but it has to be lower. I'm using two functions, which is upper and lower functions. Upper function converts it the alphabets into the upper case, and lower function converts it into the lower case. So here remaining everything is clear. So let's see if it is working properly or not. Yeah, this is working correctly. So this is the pattern and this is the output. So let's go to the pattern 8. Pattern 8 is also the same. Let's take the text as Jyoti, and we have to take the for loop for I in range of the length of the text, and we'll print text from 0 to I plus 1. Since we are starting from 0, I starts from 0, so we are giving from I plus 1. So this is the pattern. So this is very simple. And let's move to the pattern 9. Pattern 9, if you see, in the first row we have T, and in the second row we have TA and T. Third row we have TAR and AT. If you see, it is printing from 1 to 3 and from 2 to 1. So if you see this, we will take this line. If you see here, it is taking target 45, and then it is not taking the last element, but it is taking the last before element, and it is from there it is printing to the start. We have already solved this kind of pattern, but it is a kind of palindrome. But here we have to change the I index. We have to basically decrement I from -1. So let's see how we can solve this. Target 45 for I in range 1 to length of text plus 1. You have to print text from 0 to I. Half part is done, and the next half part is text. You have to take from I minus 1, but you have to print this text from the backward. So what we have to say? We have to say -1. What we are saying is, take the text from I minus 1 and print this from backward, I minus 1 to the end of the string, to the beginning, since it is doing decrement from the end to the beginning of the string. So let's see what this do. So is this the one we are looking for? Yes. Let's solve the pattern 10. Pattern 10 we have already solved, which is a palindrome problem. We'll do one thing, copy paste it, and we'll add spaces in the front. You have to understand how one pattern is different from another pattern. So we have to add spaces here. Where can we add spaces? Here. Into length. Let's take this is length of text minus I minus 1 we have to do. The reason being, that is how the pattern is. If you see in the first row we have how many spaces? 5 spaces. Since we have 5 spaces, when I is equal to 0, length of text is 6. 6 minus 1 we have 5. So we have 5 spaces, and in the second row we have 4 spaces, third row 3, 2, 1 and 0. So in order to get the same spaces, we have to take it as length of the text minus I and minus 1. You need to understand how to change the logic based on the pattern. That's it. Let's go to the pattern 11. Pattern 11, if you see, it is starting from the backward, and in the first row the last element is printed, and in the second row last two elements are printed, and in the third row last three elements. Likewise, in the last row it is printing everything from backward to the front, where t is in the first index and 45 is in the last index. So let's solve this kind of pattern. So take the text, for I in range 1 to length of text plus 1 print. Where do we print text to? Minus I to the beginning. So you have to understand negative indexing in Python. Here minus I represents. So if you see, this is target 45, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The negative index for this would be, this is 0, but 7 is taken as minus 1, 6 is taken as minus 2, 5 is taken as minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, minus 6, minus 7. So if you see, this is the negative indexing. So simply what I am saying, minus I here indicates start from the back. Minus I means in the when I is equal to 1, I'm simply saying start from the backward, from 5 till the length. So it is printing only 5. And second, what I'm saying, when I is equal to 2, print from the backward again. From, okay, let's write it. When I is equal to 1, minus 1 to 7. When I equal to 2, minus 1 to 7, which is when I equal to 2, basically we are saying minus 2 to 7. When I equal to 3, minus 3 to 7. So we are saying basically negative indexing means here minus 3 indicates 5. That is T45. So that is how this is getting printed. I hope this is clear. If you did not understand anything, comment in the comment section. I'll try to help you. When I equal to 5, minus 1 to 7. When I equal to 6, 0 to 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, we have data mistake. Here minus 4 it is. Here minus 5. Here minus 6. Then I equal to 7. Minus 7 to 7. When I equal to 8. 0 to 8. 0 to 7. Which is target 45. So that is how this pattern is printed. Understand negative indexing. In this pattern, we have covered negative indexing, slicing, range, length, functions of the patterns. So understand this. That is how this pattern is printed. We'll see if it is getting printed in the way we are expecting it to be printed. See, that is clear. See, if you see this pattern, basically here if you see the text is Jyoti, but we are getting only few letters printed. What do you think is the reason for that? If you see these are ovals, the ovals are removed from the string and it is only returning the non-ovals. So basically what are ovals? A, E, I, O, U, A, E, I, O, U. So basically what we'll do is, we'll take the string every time, the substring, and we'll see substring is text to I, 0 to I. We'll need to check if there is oval. We need to take only the not oval letters. So what we'll do is dot join. We are using join method. What we'll do, we will write one if condition. Basically for C in substring, if C not in ovals, return C. So basically we are writing the condition if ovals are present in the substring. If the ovals are not in the substring, we are taking the C value. And join method is taking also such alphabets and printing here in the not oval, no ovals. Okay, let's see. Okay, no ovals is not defined. Okay, I did a mistake. No oval. Okay, that's it. So if you see the pattern 13, again we have solved this pattern. Let's copy paste this pattern. Let's not spend time for it. I'll take this. It's simply taking the spaces. But where you have to give the spaces? After each letter, you are giving the spaces that we have to cover here. Basically, what we'll do, we'll take the join function. Join text to colon I. Let's see. This is a pattern we are looking for. I think we did a mistake. Yeah. See, we have to start at 1 or else we have to give plus 1 here. That's it. So pattern 13 is solved. Pattern 14, if you see, you need to understand the range function properly for this pattern 14. It is printing two elements each time. In the first row, TA is printed and the second row, TARG is printed. If you see, two elements are getting printed every time. Basically multiples of 2, I would say. So let's see how we can solve this. Text is target 45 for I in range 0 to length of this text. What we'll do? I said it is incrementing by 2, so give 2 here. Print text in such a way it start from 0 and I should be some with 2. Two elements should be printed. It should happen every time. Is this correct? Yeah, this is the pattern we are looking for. Basically, you have to understand the range function here. Range, start, stop, step. Here in this pattern, it is looking like multiples of 2. So basically, we are giving step as increment by 2. That is why we have given start at 0, length and 2. So this is how we solve this 14 string patterns. These patterns are very important for interviews, exams, competitive exams. So try to complete everything. If you have any doubts, comment in the comment section. That's it for today. Thank you.